after the 2020 United States presidential election in which Joe Biden prevailed. Incumbent Donald Trump, as well as his campaign and his proxies, pursued an aggressive, unprecedented effort to deny and overturn the election. The attempts to overturn the election have been described as an attempted coup d'etat and an implementation of the big lie. Trump and his allies repeated false claims that the election was stolen from Trump through an international communist conspiracy, rigged voting machines, and electoral fraud. The fraud allegations were rejected as totally meritless by numerous state and federal judges, state and local election officials, governors, the Justice and Homeland Security departments, and the Electoral College. Most congressional Republicans refused to acknowledge Biden's victory until mid-December, after the Republican efforts to overturn the election results failed and the Electoral College vote formalized Biden's victory. Emily Murphy, the administrator of the General Services Administration, delayed initiating the presidential transition, key elements of which could only begin once she had ascertained Biden to be the president-elect. Murphy allowed the transition to proceed on November 23, 20 days after the election and 16 days after most media outlets projected Biden to be the winner. After his dismissal as director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Chris Krebs was interviewed on 60 Minutes about the process of monitoring the election alongside various other election security agencies and organizations, and stated that it was quiet. There was no indication or evidence that there was any sort of hacking or compromise of election systems on, before, or after November 3, responding to baseless claims of foreign outsourcing of vote counting. Krebs also affirmed that all votes in the United States of America are counted in the United States of America. U.S. Attorney General William Barr stated on December 1 that U.S. attorneys and FBI agents had investigated complaints and allegations of fraud, and found no evidence of anything that would change the outcome of the election. Trump's baseless claims of electoral fraud and attempts to overturn the election has also cost American taxpayers $519 million according to an analysis by The Washington Post. The Trump campaign and allies filed at least 63 lawsuits after Election Day and lost all but one minor case that was later overturned by a state Supreme Court. He and his allies encouraged officials in swing states to throw out legally cast ballots and challenge vote certification processes. Trump pressured the Georgia Secretary of State to find the 11,780 votes needed to secure his victory in the state in an early January 2021 phone call, and repeatedly urged Georgia Governor Brian Kemp to convene a special session of the legislature to overturn Biden's certified victory in the state. Trump made a similar plea to the Pennsylvania Speaker of the House after Biden's victory had been certified in that state. Before and after the election, Trump stated his expectation that the Supreme Court would determine the outcome. And after the election, his legal team sought a path to bring a case before the court, where conservative justices held a 6-3 majority, including 3 appointed by Trump. Recently pardoned former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn called on the president to suspend the Constitution, silence the press, and in the swing states that Trump lost hold a new election under coercive military authority. Trump attorney Joseph D. Geneva called for the execution of Chris Krebs, the administration's most senior cybersecurity official responsible for securing the presidential election, who had declared the election secure before being fired by Trump. After his legal challenges had consistently failed, on December 10 Trump tweeted, "This is going to escalate dramatically. This is a very dangerous moment in our history. The fact that our country is being stolen. A coup is taking place in front of our eyes. And the public can't take this anymore." The next day, the Supreme Court declined to hear a case supported by numerous Republicans that sought to nullify certified election results in 4 states. Over ensuing days, Trump considered additional options, including military intervention, seizing voting machines and another appeal to the Supreme Court, as well as challenging the congressional counting of the electoral votes on January 6, 2021. By December 30, Republican members of the House and Senate indicated their intent to object to the congressional certification of Electoral College results to force both chambers to debate and vote on whether to accept the results. Mike Pence, who as vice president would preside over the proceedings, signaled his endorsement of the effort, stating on January 4, "I promise you, come this Wednesday, we will have a day in Congress." Trump and some supporters promoted a